Hey, how you doing? It's Clayton Tini from the First Homebuyer Club. 100 lessons in 100 days, day 64, lesson 64. Today, what I want to talk about is the question that we're getting asked a lot here at the First Homebuyer Club is what's going to happen in the future? And so the first thing is we can only give you our opinion. And our opinion is just like everyone else's, apart from because we're so heavily involved in the property market, we may know a thing or two extra than what you currently do. But at the end of the day, nobody has a crystal ball, right? So it's funny when we look at this question and I get asked, and when I was writing down some notes before I was about to do this Facebook Live, I don't know what made me think about it. But I remember getting in this little heated, I wouldn't call it an argument, but an online troll was just going to war, telling myself, because obviously I was talking from the page, and anyone that wanted to listen, that mark his words, in 3 months' time, the entire economy is just going to crash, and he's going to come back to tell everyone that. That was back in like March. Where are we now? November? And if you know anything about the property market right now, it's probably the hottest it's been in years. So unfortunately, I would love the property market to cool down a little bit more because I'm in the market to buy my fourth property. However, it's just not happening at the moment, and I'm not quite sure when it will. So I'm not here to say that the property market is going to continue to skyrocket for years to come, nor am I here to say that the market is just going to completely drop out in months' time and all of a sudden everyone's got to fire sale their properties. But what we do know is this, and if we're just going to look at a couple of the facts, we really need to focus on, well, what is going to happen in next year and what could affect especially the Brisbane market or the Southeast Queensland market that we're not taking into consideration at the moment. I'd like to think the first one that we really need to focus on is interstate migration plus holidays. So, at the moment, a lot of Sydney and all of Victoria cannot come, or a lot of New South Wales and all of Victoria can't just freely jump on a plane and come up to Brisbane. Now, before the end of the year, let's see what happens. What you may find is that when the borders do open up and they are able to come up here for their holidays, because obviously no one can go overseas at the moment, they're going to start seeing our sun, our lifestyle, the freedom that we've enjoyed for a lot of this year that other states are only just starting to get a taste of now. Like, I really feel sorry for people in Melbourne that for their first time, I think a week or two, were allowed to go out and have a coffee. Like, it's crazy to think that there's been such a contrast in how COVID has affected certain states. And I'm forever grateful that I haven't been in lockdown as much as as much as Victoria, and going through the same things they're going through. But we get interstate migration a lot throughout the years. It's never changed, right? A lot of people from Sydney and Melbourne especially realize that they can pay $1 million for really a shit box there that's still 30, 40, 50 minutes away from the city. Or they can come up to Brisbane and pay half that and be even closer to the city than what they're used to in Sydney. So, it's a very easy decision for some families to explore moving north. And I think this will definitely be the icing that for a lot of families, that if they are able to come up for holidays, they may just be like, babe, let's do this. Now, the other thing is, especially at the moment with COVID, we're not getting any migration from overseas. And whilst we don't depend on it, obviously migration with permanent residencies and visas and all the rest does help the economy when we get, hundreds of thousands every year. And as a result, the property market, when that does release it and happen again, they're all going to want to be coming and rushing over to get a piece of the Australian pie. So, there are two things that I really think are really strong points. More importantly, especially if we focus on Southeast Queensland and Brisbane, that there's a lot going on for it. There's a lot of construction at the moment. And Labor have just got voted in. So obviously they're going to be pushing to do a lot more construction work in and around Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast. And with more work becomes more money, which then becomes more spending. So it's another good sign of what can happen, especially in Southeast Queensland over the next 12 to 18 months. Now, am I saying that suddenly the property market is guaranteed not to have any issues? No, I'm not. However, I'm looking at what I can see at the moment, and there's a lot of good signs. Unfortunately, there's not enough bad signs that I can know that I'm going to pick up a steal. But there's a lot of good signs for us as an economy here in Southeast Queensland, which we can look forward to. Now, the second part, which we want to focus on, is interest rates and what's going to happen with the interest rates. Again, don't have a crystal ball to tell you exactly how everything is going to sit, but now we've got some banks that are offering fixed rates under 2%. Now, for me personally, I haven't fixed my interest rate since my early 20s, so 15 plus years ago. However, if you're in a position where you want your cake and eat it too, maybe you could consider doing part fixed and part variable, just to ensure that then you don't have to worry about it. Now, it's another great option where you can keep a lot of it variable, or a chunk variable, and over the next 4 years go, okay, if everything stays the same and perfect, we can pay off an extra 100,000 or 80,000. And so what we'll do is we'll fix everything apart from that 100 or 80,000, and then everything else is on a really low rate. And then we've got this portion that's variable, and then we can really just hammer in on it to pay it off faster. Because here's the thing, especially when you get a home, the only one making a big chunk of money if you take a full 30 years to pay it off is the bank. Do not rely on the property market doubling every 7 to 10 years, because that doesn't happen anymore. And yes, property prices will continue to go up over time. However, don't just use that as your only strategy to make money in property. Because you think about it, if you buy the property here, we tend to traditionally think, well, we get 100 grand equity and it goes up to there's our chunk. But what about, you think about this, you start on here and you pay off the home even faster, you've still got a same chunk of money that you can use. So then as it starts to go up, that chunk of equity that you currently have becomes bigger and bigger. You want to get as much of a spread as possible, because with more money becomes more choices. And really, at the end of the day, that's all we try and create wealth for, right? Just to have more choices in life. And those with more money have more choices. And unfortunately, that's just how it is. Does it make you happy having more money? I'm not here to say it does or it doesn't, but it gives you the opportunity to make choices that you can make that make you happy, right? Okay, guys, well, I hope you got a little bit out of today's talk on what's going to happen in the future, and a few things I see moving forward with the rates and obviously the actual property market itself. And anyways, I hope you got some out of it, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Happy Thursday. Bye.